vehicle from Bafut. Those days, let me get some water, please. In those days, there were very few people who had Volkswagen. The Volkswagen was
the car for the priest.
For the priest. So this one, we knew what it was.
Okay.
I saw it coming, so I just went and flagged the thing down.
I see.
And he pulled up,
yes.
And I did not recognize the priest. I said, I don't recognize you, but my name is Michael Eva, and I'm a student from grammar school. I come from Bafut.
Okay.
I have no transport going back home. But I know this car is from
Bafut mission.
And he said, yes. So if you want me to take you to Bafut, remain here. And when I come back from the bishop's house, I'll pick you up.
How was the priest? Tall?
It's very tall. Because you know how short the Volkswagen is. He sits in there and his head is almost touching the ceiling. But he was very tiny, very slender guy.
Okay.
Smaller than who I am now.
I see. So you waited there?
I waited there, pulled my box, and then in about an hour he showed up.
Wow.
And then helped me put my box. When I jumped into the car, we drove off the platform. The whole agenda to go and witness the public execution was gone. I could go there and miss my.
Can you imagine?
My ride.
You're right. You're free right there. So he took you to your house?
Took me. I was expecting that he would take me to the mission house and then I would carry my box and go.
Mm-hmm.
But he asked, "Where is your house?"
Mm.
So I went. He parked the car directly in front of our house. We came out. And he carried my box right down to the house and told my mother and grandmother he's too small to carry this box, so I brought him.
That's quite
And then so Mama, they thanked him.
Okay.
And then we left. I think then I would go to church in the mornings and I would see him, just greet him.
So he was in Bafut?
He was in Bafut. He had just come back from Switzerland and his first assignment was in Bafut.
Okay. Wow.
And then there was a day, Mama, they gave me some eggs.
Okay.
They tied those eggs in one of these plantain things in a very nice, presentable way.
Okay.
So go and give him and thank him for bringing you home.
Wow.
Which I went and did.
Yes.
Then I left and came back to school. Then one day I got up and I heard over the radio, there's a program,
yes.
The Catholic program, I've forgotten what I think it's not Catholic Panorama because that one comes on Sunday. They have a program of announcements that comes up on Fridays evenings.
Oh, wow.
So it was during that program
yes.
that the announcement came that he had been appointed rector of the seminary.
I see.
The seminary was just created.
Exactly.
Bishop Akwa and the rest, and Junfa and the rest, they were the first set of priests or students who came in.
Okay, interesting. So
when I came back the following summer, to go to Bambui was a very unique experience. I was very curious to go to Bambui.
Yes.
Remember that we grew up hearing about seminary.
Yes.
And seminarians. When you hear somebody has gone to the seminary in Enugu,
exactly.
Ibadan, they're coming back, you're looking at them. So what does a seminary campus look like? But I have been there at St. Peter's when it was a practicing school and a teacher's training. Well, that's where I got my interview. But there's this curiosity. Let me go and see what a seminary looks like.
Okay. And you made it.
Yeah, but my reasoning now was that at least I have somebody that I can go that I want to go and see. Yes.
Exactly.
So I went off to Bambui.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I did not meet him.
Oh, he wasn't there?
Yeah, he was not there.
Oh, there were no phones in those days?
No. Then, so I left and I went back to school.
Okay.
And then the next year, as I coming back, Father Kofon, Monsignor Kofon, comes back from Rome.
Okay.
And then was sent to Bambui.
Oh.
So that day I went to go visit him. I met the two of them.
Oh my God, so nice.
Yes. And Tumi, Christian Tumi, is now appointed Bishop of Yagwa.
Wow.
And then he leaves. And then I lost touch with him.
Because you were in the United States?
No, I had not come to the United States. I was somewhere in Cameroonian area.
Oh, exactly.
And then from there I left and I came to the United States, and for a long time I never got in touch with him until when he was back in Douala as Archbishop and then Cardinal. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much for that anecdote. It's very important for me. So you came to the United States, you went into studies?
Yes, I was admitted University of Minnesota to do soil science.
Okay.
But within the first year, I switched to agricultural engineering.
Wow.
And did an undergraduate degree in agricultural engineering.
Okay, great.
Then left from there and went to Kansas State University.
I see.
Prior to that, in my undergraduate, I had done a project.
Yes.
Which I was targeting to go back and work with cinema. So most of the information for that project came from Cameroon.
I see.
And I had designed a planter for groundnuts. And the idea was that I would take that design. If I go back to cinema, then we will try to do a prototype and then develop it.
Okay.
But when I went back in '91, that was when the economic crisis hit in, and then VMO also came in.
Exactly.
Cinema was collapsing.
Oh,
they had closed the center in Garoua.
Okay.
The one in Bamenda was at the verge of closing. From what the director in Yaoundé told me, he said it's just because the Bamenda people are so hard. Yes. Otherwise, it would have been shut down. So the one in Corobison was completely gone.
Can you imagine?
Yes. So I didn't see life moving at all.
Oh my God.
And then to make life very frustrating,
yes,
I went to take my repatriation fee.
Okay.
Which was money they kept. If you came back to the country, you would take it. So when I went to take that money,
yes,
immigration said, okay, go to Ministry of Scientific Research.
Yes.
And bring a letter that you are back in the country.
Okay.
I went and I got the letter, brought it back to immigration. They took the letter and took my passport and then stamped my passport in Balabo.
Can you imagine?
And that was it.
They didn't give you back your money.
And they didn't give me the money.
That's so terrible.
So I figured out a way.
Yes.
I think I came down to Buya.
Okay.
And met this my friend Achingale.
Yes, always a Chingale.
That's the guy that I said I had asked him.
Yeah, for the passport.
And he gave me that list. So now I'm back again in his house.
Yes.
But this time he helped because he went and met a police officer.
Okay.
Who helped me to get documentation on the situation about my passport.
Okay.
Then he took me now and presented it to one Mr. Nchanji, who was the commissioner for immigration at the time. So Mr. Nchanji made me a new passport.
Okay.
The next day,
you were back?
Back.
Wow.
I came back now and I went down to Kansas State University to do a master's degree.
Wow. In?
I did it in agricultural mechanization and then with a minor in soil physics.
Wow. You're an intellectual, eh? You've always been interested in studying.
Yes. During that time, I found to survive in school, I was running a radio program on campus.
Wow.
Through which the school was making advertisements over the radio program, and that's how they were able to help me for my tuition. Wow. And then I also had a research assistantship with the United States Department of Agriculture, which had an office on campus.
Okay.
And I was doing research on wind erosion properties and soil properties.
Wow. So you were a journalist?
Yeah, I was a kind of a journalist.
That's great. Wow, interesting.
And so with that combination, I survived my master's program, hoping that I'm going to go back.
Okay. So what happened?
Things are still not doing well in Cameroon.
Yes.
All right. Then what you call the farm crisis in the United States hit bottom rock at that point. So I couldn't even get a job in the agriculture.
Oh my God.
So where am I going now? So I decided to go back to school, Michigan State University. So this time I went into systems science and technology management.
For your doctorate?
Yes.
Wow.
So I completely switched out.
Exactly. No, this priest was saying yesterday, we have to be like the river.
Yeah.
You don't stop. When things don't work, look for another way. And
You just meander.
yeah, you have to meander and find a way. You can't just sit there. And that was what you did. Congratulations. So you finished in Michigan with a doctorate?
Yeah.
When was that, doctor?
That was 96.
Oh my God. I'm so impressed, Dr. Niba. So when did the diaconate idea come in? Did it come after the doctorate or before?
It's something I really cannot pinpoint.
Okay.
If I were to write a story or trace a story of my diaconate program, I think it goes back to maybe even before I was born.
Exactly.
So there's not really a particular point. I can say there are things that helped, that led along the way, and then you just discover pieces. To say that I actually sat down one day and said I'm going to a diaconate program, no, it did not materialize.
Wow.
The first time, I didn't even know of a permanent deacon.
Okay.
The first time that I encountered a deacon, I had not met her yet.
Okay.
But I went to church and I saw a black clergy on the altar.
Okay.
From his vestments, I could tell he was a deacon.
Exactly, from the dalmatic.
No, he didn't even have a dalmatic. He just had his stole.
Oh, okay, of course.
Yes.
How could you tell? It means you're already very, very committed to the church.
No,
you knew stuff.
I knew the church.
Remember,
I was a catechist.
Exactly. I forgot that. That's important. You're a catechist.
And even before I was a catechist, I was a head servant, head altar servant. So
you
I used to
teach
lay. I was laying vestments for
the priest.
For the priest to come and.
Wow. That was a seminary for you indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
So I knew that this was a deacon, and this is the first time.
Yes.
In my 12 plus years in the United States that I am seeing a black clergy in a Catholic church
celebrating mass.
Yes.
Wow.
First time.
Can you imagine? And this is 2000 and.
This is 1996.
Oh wow.
No, this is 95.
Can you imagine? So you were so moved.
So I had a curiosity to talk to him.
Okay.
So after mass, I went and I met him, and I was very plain with him. I said, "This is the first time I'm seeing a black man in a Catholic church."
What's his reaction?
Yeah. He said, "No, there are a few of us around."
Wow.
So I asked him, knowing how the diaconate path is to the priesthood.
Yes.
It has to be like a year or at most 2.
Exactly.
So I asked him, so when is your priestly ordination? He said, no, I'm a permanent deacon. And I said, what? He said, yes. So what does that mean? So he explained to me. So as he was talking, then this woman came up. I think she overheard the conversation, and then they joined into the conversation. So he turned around and said, this is my wife. I said, okay, this has to be a little bit serious now.
Wow, so you came and joined?
No, the man's wife.
The man's wife.
At that time, I had not met
him. Okay, the man's wife, who was it?
Yes.
Okay, the wife of the permanent deacon.
Yes.
Wow.
And so he said, this is my wife. And I said, your wife? And you're a permanent deacon? And he said, yes. So I said, I just nodded my head and I said, okay. So I asked, so how long have you been here? He said, no, this is the parish I serve in.
Wow.
So the next Sunday I came again and I still saw him.
Okay.
After church, I will greet him.
Yes.
So we became friends.
I see.
Then when I finally met her and she came, we were still friends and I introduced them. So we were big family. Today, the mother is actually, the wife is actually the godmother to my first son, Andrew.
Can you imagine?
But
wow.
So one day he gave me, because of the my curiosity on what is the life of a permanent deacon and that. So he sent me some material. He asked for my address.
Okay.
So they mailed me some material. I took the materials and read it, but I didn't really have an interest in it. And he never asked me whether I would consider going to the diaconate.
Okay.
But I read the materials. Now I knew what it was.
I see.
But I still, I was still had still been thinking of a pursuit for the priesthood, but at that point I know that was then gone, so forget about it.
Okay.
Then we come down to Chicago, and the church we were attending, St. Henry.
Okay.
We met another deacon there who was a permanent deacon.
Okay.
But he's white.
Yes.
And he happened to have baptized my first son.
Lovely.
So we asked him, so we talked about, I talked to him about the diaconate,
Yes.
what it was, and he just explained.
Okay.
But he never told me anything, come do this, nor did I express to him that it was a desire for me to be there. The one thing he kept on insisting was he used to serve at a nursing home.
Okay.
He used to minister at the nursing home, and I hated the nursing home.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
Yes.
So every time he invites me to go there,
Yes.
I will accept, but I will not show up. He keeps on inviting me week after week, and I will come up with every excuse.
Yes, not to go.
So one day he told me we will go to the nursing home. He said, I go there at 10 o'clock. So let's meet at the church area about 9:45 and then we go. And I said yes. And I knew I was not going.
Okay.
So that Sunday, the phone rings. When I pick up the phone, he said, are you ready? Can we go now? And I said, where are you? He said, I'm downstairs waiting for you.
So there was no escape. Wow, so you came down.
So I came down and then we went to the nursing home.
Okay.
And I saw what he was doing. So we came back. 2 weeks later, he called me again. We went.
Okay.
And then we just kept on going to the nursing home.
Oh, wow.
I gained familiarity. I just kept on going. He's not telling me anything about
the program.
Yes. In the meantime, I have told her
Yes.
that I think this idea about permanent diaconate is something worth exploring.
Okay.
She didn't just entertain it at all.
Okay, at first.
Yeah. She said, I don't think that's something for you.
Okay. Okay.
I tried to bring it a second time. She dismissed it, so I just kept quiet.
Okay.
My friend still has not told me
anything about
but he's kept on intensifying that we go to the nursing home.
Oh.
So one time he called me one Sunday and said he cannot make it. I should go and help.
Okay, so you went.
So I went there. Now I'm alone.
Yes.
I managed to say prayers there and then came back. If you fast forward, I ended up ministering in that nursing home for 6 years, even after he died.
Can you imagine?
And this time as a deacon.
Oh my God! What a miracle! Wow.
So I started praying if this was going to be something that would materialize.
Okay.
So if it's something that can let at least God show me a way.
Yes, He will.
And so I just kept on, I think it was about 2 or 3 years.
Okay. After.
Yes. Then one day we had a friend, one Mr. Ambe,
okay,
a retired Albert,
yes,
retired custom officer.
Okay.
He was visiting the brother in Minnesota. So he happened to come down to visit us.
I see.
So in the evening we are sitting on the table and we are talking. We just finished eating. We are all talking stories here and here and here and here. Nothing concerning church.
Okay.
And then out of nowhere, my wife just says, "Hey," and the whole place was quiet. "If you want to go be that your deacon thing,
yes,
I don't get problem with her."
Wow.
Nobody invoked the conversation.
About
she made that statement. The table was quiet for a while.
Wow.
And then we continued with the conversation. Nobody asked, "What did you just say?"
No, did you?
No.
Wow.
Then I started internalizing. That morning when I got up and I went to work.
Before you continue, Mrs. Florence, why did you make that declaration? Was it an inspiration?
Originally, I did not want to go to the seminary.
Okay, for the permanent diaconate program.
Yes, I was just looking at the fact that we just got married
Okay.
You know, we were living with our differences.
Yes.
Not that it was a bad marriage, but
Okay.
we had so many people in the house.
Okay.
And it was his first time of getting married, my first time to get married. So if he said the sister was wrong, I said he sided with the sister. If he said I was wrong, the sister said you sided with your wife. So he was always in between.
Okay.
And I told him, I said, look, right is right, wrong is wrong.
That's true.
And so I said, if we cannot manage a small family,
Yes.
how can we manage the church, which is the bigger unit? Many families build up a church. So that was my whole idea.
Okay.
So the city college where I went to, Truman College, I spoke to the psychologist who was there.
Okay.
He said, no, let him go to the seminary. It can only make him a better person.
Wow.
Took me some time, but all of this I never discussed with him. So when I was done with the city college, I went to Northeastern University.
Okay.
I spoke to another counselor.
Wow.
He said, let him go. It will only make him a better person.
Okay.
So in all of this, I've been struggling internally.
Okay.
And so this day, I was breastfeeding the baby.
Okay.
And I just said, you know, if you want to go and do that, you think you can go. It's a diaconate thing, you can go. At this point, I did not know that I was going to be a part of it.
Okay. Oh, you didn't know?
No. So admissions in the seminary had closed.
Okay.
He said he never slept that night. He was only waiting for day to break.
Yes.
And in the morning, he called the seminary and got this lady called Justine.
Yes.
The woman said, send in your resume. He sent it the resume. His resume was good.
Yes.
So they sent it to the Archdiocese. After admissions were closed, they said, no, they should let him in.
Wow. Can you imagine?
So the interview wasn't easy.
Okay.
I had to go with him in Munderline, St. Mary's of the Lake,
yes,
for an interview. And it took us hours.
Yes,
First of all, we wrote exams.
Yes.
He was on a different floor, I was on a different floor.
Wow.
No contact.
I see.
But thank God to my secondary education,
Yes.
that really helped me.
Okay.
We went for another interview in Loyola University, different floors.
Can you imagine?
I was heavily pregnant and it was drizzling.
Wow.
And I asked him, is this part of me? Am I going to be going? Because I'm having babies, I'm working, and I'm going to the university already.
Exactly.
So to go to a second university, I'm just barely making it.
Wow.
He did not utter a word. He said, you already have your 2 PhDs.
Exactly.
Let me just go have my first degree. He did not utter. He had this burning desire to become a permanent deacon.
Yes. Wow.
For once, he was quiet, didn't utter a word. He was so nice.
Okay.
We went, third interview, we went to Berwyn.
Wow.
It was raining hell as well. We were there for a couple of hours. He was on a different floor. I was on a different floor. This is written. We had written an oral.
Can you imagine? Is it about the doctrine of the church, or what were the exams about, if I may ask?
They just want to see whether I qualify, because they don't want to admit him maybe when I don't know anything, or whether we are compatible.
Okay.
So they look for those. There's a lot of things that they look into.
Okay.
Because we were 72 couples in that class.
Can you imagine? So it was a large number.
And they ended up ordaining only 21.
Wow.
So it was a high screening.
Okay.
So that is what happened. But like he said,
yes,
it worked out so well.
Wow.
It did
God
work
was
out.
so powerful.
It was 4 years.
Intensive formation. So the
Saturdays we went all day.
Okay.
9 to 5.
Okay. So is that how intensive it is?
Yes. Because during the week,
yes,
he went on Sundays, I didn't go.
Okay.
And if I took the full program, I had 9 credits of masters.
Wow.
So I did 2.5. He did 4 plus.
Okay.
So I did 2.5 or 3, because I followed him in every thing that he needed to do. For the retreat, it was compulsory.
Okay.
For Sister Grace Ngu of blessed memory,
Yes.
of late, she'll come and sit with the baby.
Wow.
I will go with him
You had
to the
support,
seminary.
family support.
Yes, it was. They made sure the women understood
Okay.
what the formation was for,
Wow.
so that you don't come and say, I did not know.
No. Wow.
And we had classes with the cardinal. The women had their own classes, the men. Then we had a joint session.
Wow.
So it was a good experience that
You
I
learned a
followed
lot
him, because it actually made me a better person.
and made you to know more about the church. No?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So Reverend Dr. Niba, what a switch, right? You gave up. You said, God, use me the way you want. You felt this call in you, and you went for it.
Yes, I think so. When I go back and I look through the years, and that's why I was saying,
Yes.
I think God has a way of forming you
Yes.
through various channels for an intended purpose.
Correct.
If I look back now, there is probably a lot of diaconal work that I had done.
Exactly. As a catechist.
As a catechist, going back into Cameroonian, where we built the church.
Yeah.
Even in secondary school in Mamfe.
Okay.
When we came to school, religion was on the timetable.
Wow.
At around Form 2, Form 3, they revised the timetable, and religion was taken out.
Can you imagine?
And I remember going and having a debate
with
the discipline master, questioning why religion was taken out of
the curriculum.
Yes. And because religion was taken, the priests who used to come say mass on campus, they were also not going to come.
Oh.
The pastors who used to come and minister to the Presbyterians, they were not coming back. So I went and made that debate. I went and debated and made that argument, and the discipline master said, well, the whole concept, it's a decision that administration has taken, they cannot reverse it. Okay. And I said, I respect that, but we want to know that that decision was made without consulting the students. So that's how we ended up that discussion. Okay. Then on the subject of the pastors not coming, he said, well, religion is gone, but we are replacing it with morning devotions. So every morning they brought everybody to the assembly, then they will read some scripture, and sometimes teachers will come and pray, and then give some moral advice. We will sing from the hymnal, the church hymnal. Yes. And students who were in the upper sections, like from 4, from 5, they were also being trained to do morning meditations. Wow. So that's how we were doing it. But then I went back and I said, that does not replace
religion.
It cannot replace the mass.
No, it cannot.
So if you cannot do anything else, we would want to have the mass back on campus. Okay. And he said, here is the timetable. Where are they going to fit the mass? And Thursday afternoons was a general day for sports. Okay. He said, well, the only thing that is, except you want to forgo your sport. I said, okay, if that be the case, we'll forgo the sport. He said, well, if the Catholic students can forgo going for sports in order to attend mass, then he will open up a space.
Oh, wow, and he did.
And I said, so that's right. So he gave us a classroom. Wow. So now it was left to get a priest. So I gathered because some of the Catholic students were around, and I told them that this is what the situation was. There is I remember one of the students in Zue Calista. Okay. From Bakosi area there. She was very instrumental in getting, mobilizing the girls, especially the junior students who were Catholic. So I went now and met Father Patrick Ryan, who was the curate of St. Joseph Manfe.
I see.
And I told him that this is the situation, and we would like you to come say mass. And he said, have you talked with the school people? And I said, yes, they offered us a classroom. Wow. So 4 o'clock on Thursdays was the agreed day. And Lord and behold, we sat there on campus on that Thursday, and a car drove up. That was Father Patrick Ryan with his mass box. And then we started